This is the Giraffes Don't Eat Steak podcast, a show that brings you marketing stories, tips, hints, and much more. A treat for those who want to succeed in business or marketers who just want to learn.
Good morning, Alec.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm a little bit fluey this week. How are you doing?
Well, luckily I'm not fluey, which is good, but there are a lot going around. There's a lot of people that in my circle, let's say, who have been knocked down with a bit of flu. So it's that time of year. But I feel like we're coming out of that time of year. February
Yeah.
is close to that time.
Well, we still expect a burst of snow, and then we can
Do you think it's coming?
relax.
Is it going to come, the snow?
It always snows in February, and then we always get surprised every year. Oh, wow. It's like,
Yes.
no, if you look every year, I've got my Google photos. There was snow in February every year.
There was also snow in January 2 years ago. I've got photos on my phone. It was really snowy around here.
Mm.
So we'll see. We'll
It's
see.
it's so interesting how people forget trends, right?
Mm.
Trends are trends. They're there for a reason. Yes, things can change going forward, but generally, if you look at how it's gone, it's gonna go the same.
Are you a climate denier?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
No, no, I'm just teasing.
Right. So, what I thought we could chat about today, Alex, is websites because we've done a lot of websites either together or separately. And one of the questions I get quite a lot is, why is my website not generating leads? Does that just sound familiar to you?
That sounds very familiar. Very familiar. It's an odd question, though. Why is my website not generating leads? Because it's not just your website that's generating the leads, is it? Of course, your website is a big part of it because you can attract people organically through SEO, but everything else you do is actually external to the website,
Yeah.
bringing people to the website. So it is a funny, I guess, for people who don't have a marketing background. It I guess it makes sense. I got a new website. It's brand new. It looks brilliant. I've pressed play. I've pressed go. I've launched it.
And I expect everyone to come pouring
Yeah.
in. Where
Yeah,
are
exactly.
these
Where, where,
thousands of
where is
people?
everybody? Yeah. Where is everyone? I guess you just need to think of it as like opening up a shop in an alleyway somewhere that no one walks down.
And not
Soon
telling anyone you're there.
without telling anyone, but it may look amazing inside, a beautiful, beautiful shop. But if nobody knows about it, no one's going to walk in. Maybe you might hear maybe some people might come randomly, but
Yeah,
that's it. So there's a lot. The website is merely the shop.
it's the shop.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love that analogy actually, because it's also the case of people think by announcing on LinkedIn or Facebook, hey, I have a new website. They think that's it, right? Like, hey, I have a new website. Ta-da! No,
Exactly.
most
Yeah.
people don't care that your website is new.
No, no one cares. I was having that conversation the other day. We're gonna do a little hi LinkedIn post that we've. I mean, why not? It's good just to do it anyway, officially announce it. But I did say, look, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. The only people that care are us.
But I think it's the purpose, right? As long as everyone understands the purpose of doing that is actually to remind people of your brand. That's all you're doing. You're putting your hand up saying, we are here and we're active and we're fresh. It's
And
not about the website.
no,
It's about the brand and just saying a reminder, right? Top of mind, we're still here.
yeah, no, it's exactly right. Exactly right. And the term why isn't it generating any leads? It's also, I mean, what does a lead look like? I feel like leads they're not the same. It depends on what type of lead you get, what type of service you're providing. So a if you're selling I don't know, pen or something like that. A cheap pen, a pen that costs, I mean, okay, maybe it's back in the day. Maybe not, do people buy pens? I don't know. Anyway, oh, I received a pen the other day
Yep.
as
Branded
a gift.
pens are still popular.
No, I have some tenants, high tenants, if you listen. It was very lovely. And they sent me a gift. They sent me a engraved with my name pen.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
nice.
With a little note in there saying, thank you very much for everything. Hashtag best landlord ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
why? Because you're out of the country and you never bother them.
No, I don't know. I mean, I always send
They
my
have met you, right?
they have.
Oh, oof,
They have.
okay. That's pretty.
I do regularly send them chocolates for
Ah,
seasonal chocolates.
oh,
Seasonal chocolate.
okay.
Yeah. Well, you know. Anyway, where was I? Chocolates, pen.
Pens. If you
Yeah,
buy a pen, then it's a sale, not a lead, right? If you could buy it straight away.
yeah. But also I'm thinking of items that you can do mass lead generation, like
Mm.
only because of our good friend that we had on last week. I'm not sure which order
Yeah,
we're in.
last week. Mikhail,
Um,
yeah.
account because he just always reminds me
Hearing
of
aids he
hearing
spoke
aids.
about.
Exactly. That's
Hearing
exactly what
aids.
I'm going to go to. Hearing aids. And you can create appointments. You know, creating an appointment for something is a different lead to say if you are a service provider rather
Coach.
than a coach, for example, and you are offering content in terms of information about something, an education piece, and you're just and you get to the point where you're just downloading something, downloading a white paper. That is someone entering the funnel, and that's a very different lead to someone putting in their appointment details to come in and see someone face to face for a free hearing aid consultation.
Absolutely. And it comes back to what we always talk about, Alex, is when you're building your website, who is your target audience? Who is it you're trying to attract that needs to land there? Because that's who the website needs to speak to, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then what action is it you want them to take, which is the lead? Do you want them to buy? So there's buy buttons. Do you want them to make an appointment? Do you want them to request a meeting? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to send an email? And everything needs to be around driving people to that action. And that action is then the lead.
Exactly. And the way that driving to that action can look very different. I'm going to stay with the same examples. A hearing
Yeah,
aid, all you need to know is, the price from, or whatever it will be, um, if it's available in your area, and the contact form there where you can put in your availability. But again, if you're coming to a coach, you're going to want to have that journey a little bit different, because they want to read more about you, exactly all the benefits you get from it, who you are, what the sessions look like, and probably you will have a trigger on your website that says, okay, once they've been engaging for X amount of time, or if they've engaged for X amount of time and then tried to leave, then I'll put up a pop-up which will say, would you like to download this for a little bit more information? Or if they're on a specific page, maybe you can offer them a different piece of content. But it's a slower, more subtle kind of entry into gathering the lead, rather than we know all you need is 3 lines of information and a box to fill in your details. Boom. It's a very different journey.
absolutely. It's again where what is the pain point? Is it a nail in the foot pain point? I need help now. Give me your name and email. Or not sure. I'm thinking about it. I need a lot more information. And when you get into software and IT, it's even longer, right? B2B, you're talking a completely different journey. So it's understanding, as we always say, Alex, your target audience. We're right back to that one point. We never leave it.
No, we do not. It'll always be there. It will always be there.
Now, here's our popular debate. What comes first, the design or the
Oh
copy?
no. I knew you were going to ask that. I knew you were going to ask that. It depends who you ask. I mean, I have I'm more of a design focused person, which means for me, from a design point of view, to have the content first is great because once you got the content, you can design around it. But I understand the other camp saying let's design it and let's put the content in. But for me, okay, I don't know which side you're going to say actually, but I'm going to argue this side that once you have the content, it's easy to design around it because you've completely you know exactly what needs to be said, especially if you as the designer aren't part of the content team or an external person. You don't know exactly what the business wants to achieve. I mean, you've been briefed, but no brief is will inform
Foolproof. Yeah.
completely. Yeah, I mean, you need 3 years in a business to totally understand it. Um, maybe not that long, but
Only you, Alex.
yeah, only me and my slow brain. But if you once you have all of the content, you can design around it. You know exactly how much is going to go in there, and then you have the full scope of the project. Whereas if you're just going to design it and you've got some rough ideas of maybe some placeholders, and then you get the content written, and you realize, oh, there's a whole new section that we missed out. This bit's this long versus this long, and then you have to redesign to fit all of that. In my opinion, there's more back and forth that way. And I feel like the content will inform the design as well, because depending on what the message is, the tone of voice, you can reflect that into the design to be more aligned with that rather than the other way around. Especially if you're a designer and you don't know what the theme of the content is or what the tone is or the pure message through. So you don't really have that information to design it specifically to that project.
Okay. So I will surprise you that I actually agree with you.
This is good
Uh,
that we're recording this. Everyone,
no,
everyone agree with me for once.
but mainly because I've seen the pain it causes designers when this changes, right? Like,
Yeah.
having the copy finalized, especially, whether there's SEO that's needed, there's quite a lot that needs to go into the copy. Is it the right tone of voice? What's the SEO? Is it, like we spoke about, is it talking to the target audience? Is it taking them on this journey? What pages do we need? What's the process? There's quite a lot that goes into the copy. And then for a designer to take that and bring it to life, I think that works really well.
Hmm.
But I've seen the pain it causes when, from a copy perspective, it's a half job, let's say that. Then the
Yeah.
designer does all the stuff, and they're like, oh no, that doesn't work. We actually don't need this section, we need that. And they got to start all over, right? And I've seen the frustration. So yeah, I think I agree with you. I think getting that upfront strategy piece, thinking it through, and then interpreting that in how you want to talk to the customer, I think is really important. And then even we're saying the copy, but the outcome maybe actually we need a video here with
Mm.
this copy would work better in a video. So then or this copy would work better, like maybe testimonials would work better in graphics rather than text. So that's where the designer can add real value to the process, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, I agree with you, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the ideal situation is they have been working together for a while and and the designer is looped in pretty early on in the
Yes.
content, or at least to understand what the content is going to be. So you can start getting a bit of an idea, maybe start drafting some design elements that you can then add into just to speed up the process. So our next question, there's actually lots we could talk about on the design side, but we're going to keep it a bit more high level, I think. But the next question, because I think this is an interesting one. Um, do you, or to what capacity do you take the main stakeholder or whoever it is, the CEO or the whoever it may be, the final decision maker, to what extent do you take them on the journey of the build of a new website?
Oh,
And how important is it for their input during or after. Yeah, just kind of give me your picture of what you think is an optimal amount of inclusion for your main stakeholder.
I think as with most marketing answers, it depends. I
Mm-hmm.
think you need to read your stakeholder. We've had stakeholders that are super involved. They know exactly what they want to say. They know what they want to, and to keep them till the end would have been a big mistake. It would have been a blowout, right? We needed to keep them along. And then other stakeholders have been like, just show me, like, I don't have time for this. This is why I'm paying you, and then show me at the end. So I think you need to read your stakeholders. I think you need to, and also be careful of what they say. They may say, I've hired you to do this, go for it. But you need to know them. Actually, they they feel quite strongly in our case. Sometimes they think they're marketers. And so they have what they want. Remember, and this is the hard part, right? It's not our website. It's not our website. It's their
Yeah,
website.
yeah,
So
that's
I know
true.
that's not the ideal. And again, some are different. Someone like one stakeholder is very visual. So pages and pages of copy, absolute waste of time. Now, unfortunately, that did mean copy got done, design got done, stakeholder made changes at design stage, and he made no changes at copy stage. But it's because he was visual, right?
Yeah,
And so yes, that did mean more editing in the design work, quite a lot, if I remember,
yeah,
for you. But that because he's so visual, he couldn't picture the website with just a Word doc of images. But that's when, I mean, there's some nice tools like Miro and all this kind of stuff where you can do an interim step, right? Like you can
yeah. Like quite a highly like a well polished wireframe you can do.
exactly. So that you don't have to go to the full build until that's kind of, and because that gives the proper look and
Yeah,
feel and they can get an idea.
yeah,
And so you can build an interim step where this is likely to
yeah.
happen.
I think that's a great tip. I think gone are the days of an Excel wireframe.
I
I
think
think,
so.
yeah, let's use the tools that we have at our disposal, Miro or Figma. If I mean Figma requires a bit more technical knowledge, I guess, but there are plenty of tools to create into and step, like you said, which is doesn't take any coding, for example.
Yeah.
You can put the bones of a website together.
And
Also, you
and also your copywriter can work directly in there so that you are doing this hand in hand working together on it like you spoke about, right?
yeah, yeah, that's true. Another thing I found really helpful as well is taking um, inspiration from other websites.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's a lot of elements that are same across websites, and finding a live example of certain elements and taking that as a screenshot and putting it next to your wireframe, saying, okay, this is the wireframe, but in reality, it might look a little bit more like this, to give them a bit of a better idea. So I would say there's two things to consider. One is I completely agree with what you say that I would say most people are visual.
I'm not visual.
No, I mean it's like once you see it, then you're like, okay, that doesn't work. It's difficult. I mean, a lot of people, I
True,
think,
true, true.
and then so the chances are the big boss may be like that. The other thing is the big boss is usually pretty busy,
Yeah,
and if you give them 5 minutes attention on one small thing that you're looking and saying, but like completely out of context, like this part on the about us section, I think should be like that. But like, yeah, that sounds good. That looks good. Okay, I've got to go to another meeting. But in it's so if you just then leave it to at the end completely, and then they get it, and then they see it in totality with all the graphics, expect a lot of changes.
yeah.
Expect a lot of changes. Um, I
See, I
think
I've had the opposite where on the small stuff they because it's out of context, spent hours and hours. Like,
That's
can
true.
you change it a little? No, I think this needs to move slightly to the left, like, because it's out of context, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, that's true. I would say I'm in the camp of I think a good way of doing it is page by page, actually. So get one
yeah.
page, like focus on I mean, get the wireframe and everything done for everything because you need the context of it, you need the journey of the whole thing. But in terms of like a finished product, get the homepage done.
And then once
Uh,
everyone's agreed the look and
so,
feel.
yeah, and then the rest of the pages are actually a lot easier because the homepage is done and it's pretty much it's just a continuation of that, an extension of that. So once you've signed off that, that can be the slow bit, getting the homepage done. Once that's done and you've gone through all of the nitty gritty changes and the picky bits, the rest is a lot easier.
Cool. Great tip, Alex. Great tip. So back to the question, why is my website not generating leads? We've come up with, are you sending traffic there? So, SEO takes a while to build. It doesn't happen immediately. So other than SEO, how are people finding your website? Maybe you did do a launch, but that's not enough. We've come up with, is your flow correct? Are you talking to your target audience? Wow, I guess even with the bleeds, are you sending the right people to your website? Because it's no good if you're sending the wrong people.
That's true.
Um,
No good if
uh,
you're sending a click farm people from click farms in wherever it may be.
yeah, that's probably your stats would look lovely, but your leads will not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then what is the action you want them to take, and how hard is it for the action? Are you giving them enough or too much information? Because it can be either way, right? To actually get to that action. I was on a page like the buy button went to a landing page. The buy button went to a landing page, and then the buy button on the landing page was right at the bottom of reams and reams and reams of text and videos and testimonials and whatever. So I lost interest because
Yeah. I've come across some stuff like that that are kind of overdoing the set. It was like I think you gave the example the other day when it was a LinkedIn business, LinkedIn sales for no, sorry, what was it? Sales
yeah,
navigator. And you're like, I want to buy. Okay, we'll schedule a call with someone. And there was a schedule a call with a salesperson. They're like, blah, blah, blah. This is why you should have it. Blah, blah, blah. No, I want to buy. And then you had
and
to wait another. Yeah, that sounds exactly the same, but on a digital format.
understand your target audience's
Yeah.
journey, right? They buy a journey. Where are their heads, and you have to cater. I think harder websites are where you have a website for multiple audiences.
Yeah.
It's much easier if you have a website for one audience, right? Great. Send them there. They click the button, all good. But when you've got multiple audiences, knowing how to position it so you're not driving any of the audiences away, but it's easy for them to navigate. For me, then landing pages are much better for lead gen. Don't, leave the website as your general overview page. But when you're doing your lead gen, send them to a specific landing page, not to the
Yeah.
general homepage.
No, no, exactly. That's a real bugbear of mine. I've seen that a few times as well. There's absolutely no point. There's no specific journey and it just doesn't make sense. You're completely lost. It's like taking somewhere, being in a taxi and saying, I want to go here, and then they drop you off the other side of town. Same city, but different part of the town. Like, where am I?
Yeah. Awesome. Any
Okay.
last tips or are we good? I think we
No,
need to get some experts on, right? Shall we do that? Shall we get some experts on?
yeah, let's get some people to talk a bit of some of the detail in SEO, some of the detail of
Web builders, right?
web building. Yeah.
I think
The
we
system.
had Shane, we had one web build. I think we ended up making him cry, right?
Um, yeah,
It was a
maybe.
tough job.
Yeah. Oh. Um, Okay, cool. So until
Awesome.
next time.
Until next
Very
time.
much. Catch you
Bye.
later. Bye-bye. That wraps up this episode of Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. Thanks for joining us. I hope you found value in our discussion and got some new ideas to apply to your own business. Tune in next week for another round of marketing insights and inspiration. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate you listening. Catch you next time on Giraffes Don't Eat Steak.